Yo, what is up, everybody? So let's go back again with another collection of horror stories for you guys. These will be written by an author named Vivian Justin. So remember these links in the description below. Show love to them, like, comment, and subscribe. Story 1, Belial. I just stood in front of the mirror. I looked at the tiniest flaws in my naked body. What would happen to me? I asked myself. What will happen now if he catches me? I grabbed a towel and walked out the bathroom straight onto the balcony. I looked down at the city and thought I saw him on the other side. My heart was pounding. He's here, and he's found me. I clutched the railing and hoping he hadn't seen me. I ran inside and got dressed. How many could there be? Oh, why do I have to take part in all this nonsense? I grabbed my keys, hoping that the back door would be open and I wouldn't have to leave to the main entrance. I ran down 2 floors, relieved when the door opened. I looked around, but no one was there. I was looking at my phone in my pocket. I have to call Robbie. Shit! I heard a noise behind me. I started running, looking for Robbie's number on the phone book. My car was parked 2 blocks away, just in case. I drove about a mile before I spotted Robbie at one of the exits. What was left of him, anyway. I jumped out the car and helped him up. Part of his face was covered in blood. The skin was hanging in shreds from his right calf, and his stomach was held together only by the sturdy binding of his t-shirt. It was a horrifying sight. I put him in the back seat. Robbie, what happened? I was gonna call you. I think I'm being followed. I'm sorry. This is all my fault. Robbie, this is not the time. And Robbie just fell asleep, and I started ahead as I drove. It was 11 at night. There were no more cars on the road. I pulled up at a rest stop and used the restroom. When I got back, Robbie was not in the car. I clutched him to my heart and nervously scanned every inch of the car and then the surroundings. There was no sign of Robbie. I screamed, I stomped around, but they took him away. I fell to the ground, and while I cried my heart out, my fists were pounding a small patch of gravel road. Then, when no more sound came out of my throat, I looked at my bloody hands. In the meantime, a pleasant feeling came over me. I stood up, tapped every bone in my body, and went in search of Robbie. The woods were dark, bleak, and damp. I treaded cautiously forward, heedless of the thick crackling of tree branches in the background. Honestly, I just wanted to find Robbie and get him to the hospital as soon as possible. Strange though, because I could see shadows slipping through the trees. In the distance, I saw a shack. Light filtered through the windows. And with quick steps, I ran towards the cabin, hoping to find Robbie inside. I froze for a moment, a strong smell hitting my nose. I could smell rotting flesh. I switched on the flash on my phone and headed for where I suspected the stench was coming from. I smelled it more and more strongly. I held my nose with one hand, but it seeped in through that too. I stood at the base of a tree and held my hair and vomited. My body couldn't stand the smell anymore. I straightened up and walked on with my phone in my hand. Even the buzzing of flies was foreboding. I approached. A few meters ahead of me, I saw a foot. Oh my God, Robbie, I thought to myself. He's running headlong, but it wasn't Robbie. The three rotting corpses were our friends, killed by the same people who followed me. Their bodies lay mangled on top of each other. There was blood and body parts everywhere. I found myself stepping on toes. I jumped, and my breathing became labored and my forehead sweating. Then I saw perhaps the most horrifying sight of my life. The throat of one of the corpses was slashed open, maggots crawling out of it. I shuddered. First, I'll get Robbie to the hospital, then I'll go straight to the police. After I calmed down a bit, I headed for the cottage again. If someone had taken Robbie from the car, I'd be no good to him without a gun. So I crept onto the porch and peered cautiously through one of the front windows. The room was empty. I ran over to the other one. It was the kitchen window, but there was no one there either. I opened the front door noiselessly. I looked around slowly, and everything was empty. I stopped in the middle of the living room. I heard a noise from upstairs. Could someone be there? Or was my mind playing tricks on me? It was as if someone was walking upstairs, and the beams crackled. I took one step after another, and when I got to the top, I looked to my right, and there was the same figure I had seen across the street. Where is Robbie? I screamed at the top of my lungs. But there was no reply. With a sudden idea, I threw my phone at him. The mirror shattered, and I ran down the stairs. I didn't stop until I reached the car, and I had the feeling again that someone was following me, but I didn't dare turn back, because what if he was right behind me? I avoided one tree after another, and I couldn't wait to see the car. As soon as I saw it, a great weight fell off my heart. I ran to the back door and almost collapsed from what I found. Robbie's body was lying there. The whole seat was covered in blood and mucus. He was the only person I loved, and I couldn't save him anymore. There was just damage all over his body. The flesh was coming off in pieces. I was backing up when a piece of leather fell on the car. I vomited again. I ended up hearing voices in the woods, but it didn't matter. I screamed from the pain that was gnawing in my chest. I felt dizzy, and by the time I opened my eyes, I was looking at the starry sky. I blinked slowly, trying to regain my strength. I hoped it was just as bad as this was just a bad dream, and by the time I woke up, Robbie would be gone. But there he was. I knelt beside the car, as if that would bring him back to life. I heard voices in the distance again, but it was the sound of a car. Lights were flashing. I closed the back door, got behind the wheel, but the car wouldn't start. I'm swearing, cursing, and I keep turning the key to no avail. I put my head on the steering wheel and slapped my hands on the dashboard. Everything became a blur. At least 7 police cars and 2 ambulances surrounded my car. I saw some police running into the woods, and the rest were standing around the vehicle with guns in their hands. I got out with my hands up. From the side of one of the ambulances, I saw my doctor approaching. Besides Robbie, I trusted him. But now, his always happy face was gone. It was different now. What have you done? It wasn't me. It was Belial. Don't play games with me again. They all lied to me. This is all Belial's doing. The demon. He killed them. He was following me and he was gonna kill me. I suddenly remembered the mirror that broke upstairs. Your darkness is heartbreaking, he said. I was riding in the back of the police car with 2 other police officers. When we saw the city lights, I burst out laughing. It was deep and unstoppable. It was all Belial's doing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our story.